Hello, everybody. Sorry I am late. I had a visitor. um, Remember I told you we were going to have company this week, and somebody came over to see, one of the kiddos came over to see the chickens. So was getting ready when they showed up. So let me get my phone here. Woo, is it hot? Let's get ready. Whew. All right, let me see here. There we go. Now my laptop is with us. My phone is plugged in. Whew. Sorry about that. Hello, Kim. Welcome. Shift things. Like I said, was getting ready. Hello, Jessica. How are you? Ooh, is it warm? Let me turn my fan towards me. Oh, fun. Oh, fun. Let's get this organized here. So like I said, I was getting ready, and then I had a kiddo visitor from the family. They wanted to come see the chickens, so I was talking to them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. It's after 8. That's fun. So I figured I would are you talking about for the practice page? Like when we did the practice page? I think I just divided it out. I know my book is, it's 12 inches. The page is 12 inches. So I just did blocks of 2 inches. And then I did blocks of, let's see, my page is 8 inches wide. So I think I did like 2 1/4. Yeah, like 2 1/4. I mean, you could do 2 by 2s. It doesn't have to be, but that's what I did. I just kind of took what the page. Okay, no worries, Jessica. But I just took the page size and kind of tried to figure it out. Yeah, so I don't know about y'all, but it's a hot one. I was just literally standing on the porch out there and sweating. Even though the boyfriend is sick, he decided he was going to go fishing, and I'm like, oh my God, it's too hot for all of that. He's running a fever and all that. So I thought, while we were just kind of getting organized here, I think I'm just going to erase these very faint guide marks that are on here still. You can barely see them, but I can see them. So if you have an issue getting guide marks off, which are the chalk marks, I used to use like baby wipes, but like the fibers would get kind of hung up on the wood. So somebody suggested using stop rattling, plastic eraser, and I haven't looked back. It's so much easier, well, for me, and I do big pieces, so I prefer this. And I don't really have an issue like getting around any of the dimensional dots or anything either. So these are kind of hard to see, so it's not like uber critical that they're all gone, but once you seal it, they're not coming back out. So try and get rid of them. The only thing is it does kind of make a little bit of a mess with the rubbings. I think that's good. Hello, Jen. Thank you for the heart me. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. Like I told you, we have company, and I was getting ready, and I heard a knock on the door, and all I could see was the top of the little girl's head, and I like freaked out because why is the little girl coming over here by herself? Well, she wasn't alone. It just all I could see was her. But yeah, I kind of freaked out because, we have somebody up here who literally had a heart attack a few weeks ago, got a pacemaker, and is already not following directions from the doctor. And then, the boyfriend's not well, so he went fishing, and I'm like, I didn't know what was happening. So, but they just came to see the birds. So they were just on a quest to see the birds. And I mean, the birds were out. They just wanted to let me know that they were here. And, yeah. Bad. I actually think he's got pneumonia, but he was hell-bent to go fishing with his brother. And I said, well, my worry is him giving it to somebody else. We've got a couple of elderly people up here. His dad, of course, not, being in the best of health quite yet. And, kids, and I don't want it. But he wanted to go fishing. He wanted to get out of the house, so I made him stay until it got a little cooler. And, yeah. So, we tried to take his temperature. It's funny. We haven't used that thermometer since COVID, when we both had to check our temperatures before we went to work. The battery was dead, so. But he was warm, and I did make him take some ibuprofen. We had a conversation about pushing himself too much. No, I'm good, Jordan. Yeah. So, I mean, he knows he doesn't feel good, but it's kind of like one of those things, like he's like, I don't want to miss out on anything. Whatever. He's a dude. He's going to do whatever he wants. No, God, no. It is, well, the boyfriend went fishing at the lake. It is too hot for me to be out fishing. I would go now, but I'm painting, which I look forward to every day. I have not. I will probably be out tomorrow, because today was my last day of clinical for peds. So, let's see, there's 17 of you here. Is anybody new? Does anybody, I should probably introduce myself. I usually do. I'm Victoria. I am a nurse and a nurse practitioner student, and I use the word teach. I show you how to do the beginning steps of mandala style dot art. Okay. We did have a special request. I usually ask the community to vote on a color palette. So tonight we'll make a custom palette using this purple paint. And I'll show you how that looks. We also are going to paint on this wood round. I painted it already because if you don't paint it and let it dry at least 24 hours, your chalk marks won't necessarily come off. So I'm going to trace what we call guide marks on here and get this ready to paint. For beginners, recommend the stencil, but you could do these horizontal and vertical guide marks with a ruler and a compass. You want to make sure your pencil's pretty sharp too, so that your line is not too wide. So, and I talk about quite a few things. I do repeat myself a lot. But if you ever have a question, put it in the chat. Somebody may answer you before I see it. It's a pretty friendly community. We don't have any issues. Everybody is happy. No, I don't use any crayons. I mean, I will use crayons, but oh, he'll have fun. He'll have fun. No, I don't use crayons live. But do I color with crayons? And actually, I really like coloring with color pencils if I had to choose. If I had to choose between crayons and colored pencils. Thank you for the follow, Darla. So if you're new here, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have any, like I said, if you have any questions, ask. I am live usually Sunday through Thursday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until, we've been going till about 10:30. I have it set up for 2 hours, but. So what I'm doing now is tracing the stencil so that we have guide marks, and I'm using a chalk pencil. Hello, Lynn. Thank you for the heart me. Hi, Kansas, or Darla from Kansas. So I am prepping us to make what we call a mandala. So it won't look exactly like this, but we will use some of the design elements in here. We're going to actually do a custom palette with a purple today. So stick around. Yes, fun. So we don't always use mirrors or any, it changes from time to time. It just kind of depends on what happens. I have zero plan other than we know we're painting with this color. That's it. Thank you for the follow. Okay, so I have that done. I'll set that aside. Man, I cannot believe how much I was sweating just sitting, and I was in the shade. Like I said, and I did make him take some ibuprofen, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not going fishing today. I mean, I have all weekend, right? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? So this color we're going to use is Purple Iris. And I had a couple of ideas that something I've never done. So I'm going to try it. So when I make a custom palette, the reason I usually do this is so that you don't feel like you have to go by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors of purple. That's actually the same one. So, okay. So you can, and I mean, depending on your finances, craft paint, acrylic craft paint is relatively inexpensive. Okay. But if you're doing a bunch of different palettes, like say you want to do, you want to do teal, you want to do purple, you want to do blue, and you don't necessarily know which colors would go together, or, you're not really sure if you want to do this. Making a custom palette kind of reduces those finances. So what I'm going to do in this first one is what I said I've never done before. So I usually fill these up. This pot right here is 15 ml, so half an ounce. Thank you for the follow. So it holds quite a bit of paint. And when I'm mixing a custom palette, I try to fill them up about halfway. You can fill them up more, but you'll be wasting paint. The goal is that when you dip your tool in there, you're not hitting the bottom. You can always buy, hang on a minute, let's get some water in it. You can always use a paint palette, which is like this. And I did use these, but I was wasting paint. And I mean, I don't try to waste paint. The thing is when you're mixing a custom palette, they're a little shallow. So you can only mix so much at a time. All right, so that's going to be there. And then I'm going to do this one. About the same amount, which is a little different. And then I'm going to do less. Oh, I got to put more in there because that squirted out. Less and like very little in that one. So I start off with this combination. Hello, Paula. How are you? This is like my normal, the most and then to the least. And then I don't normally do this one. I don't know if 5 colors is like the standard for everybody, but that tends to be what we do. I may only use 4 of these colors a lot, but I just mix up 5. That's what I was taught. That's what I do. I'm actually going to do something a little... Hi, Oliver. Oh, I love his name. Oliver. There was a kiddo in one of the kids I went to school that I was a nurse for, and one of my favorite students that was in his class, that's his name, Oliver. So I love little Oliver. So I'm actually putting black in that one. And then instead of white or buttermilk or any of that, I'm actually using a gray, slate gray. To dilute, and I'm going to say dilute, but that's not, to mute the purples. Okay. So I'm going to put enough in there to kind of get it to the same level for these last ones. So this one's going to get more than this one. And then this one's going to get the most. Now, I do have a lot of paints because when I first started, that's what I did. Oddly, I hardly used any of them until... Oh, it was good, but hot. And there was so many kids that were unaccompanied minors. And I'm not going to be judgy because I remember what it was like to be a teenager, but there were a lot of drunkenness and unruliness. So at one point, like, I was almost knocked over. My friend had to grab me, or I would have been on the ground. But it was a good weekend. It was not the best Barefoot Country Music Fest that I'd been to. My first two were fantastic. This one was like, meh. It was okay. And then the last day was hot. So it was, and then the lineup on Sunday wasn't that great. So it was a long day. I mean, again, I'm not complaining because it was vacation. So that's not coming out the way I thought it would. Let me stir that up. Oh, no worries. Thanks for the follow. Okay, so let me keep mixing it. No, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where are you at? Wait, Judy. Where are you at? Why? I don't know. I always say, oh, Meryl, no. Yeah, no, we're the same time. What I would really recommend you do is once you, and I don't know, like, I used to like send out my live notifications like individually to people. And the best way is honestly setting notifications, but you have to become a fan member. And I know that, you know, there's a cost. I think it's like you have to set up to put the coins on your account. And not everybody wants to do that. But that's how I have to do it because I will miss some of my favorite people if I don't do that. All right, that is definitely black. Okay, so let me add more. Oh, so on the 4th where we live, the volunteer fire department puts on the best fireworks I have ever seen. We do pay $5 a person, which is like a donation for like next year. But everybody within quite a few miles comes. Like it is packed. So this is not doing what I thought it would do. Okay, well, I'm kind of bummed about that. I thought if I added a little black, I would get like a deep purple, but all I got is black. Bummer. Well, you don't know unless you try. So we'll mix these up and get our colors going. What are you guys doing? I wonder if I added white to that now. Maybe if I add white to it. I know all the kids that came to clinic today had been swimming and they were enjoying their summer break so far. So I don't know if you have a pool. Yeah. You know, like I said, so remember I kept saying, like, I had that patient they wanted me to see tomorrow, and I'm like, I didn't really want to drive that because it's like an hour and a half away. He fell. Oh, he doesn't know? Oh. Why not? But he fell, and he was in the hospital, so... Because I reached out just to see if they had gotten him taken care of. And they apologized. Oh, I'm sorry we didn't tell you and blah, 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 whatever. But he fell. So I don't know what ultimately happened, but... Oh. You know, sometimes they can wear earmuffs like they do at the races. My dog doesn't like the fireworks at all either. Your baby sister could come hang out with Chloe, and they'll be happy together. Do you have the Oliver? Do you have any dogs or cats? Oh, he does. Yeah, she does. Yeah, their little ears are so sensitive. Okay, that almost looks gray. How weird. I've never added gray to purple, so this is totally, as always. Oh, well, mine hides in the bathroom, so I know. I know. I did have somebody tell me that I could give the dog something. But it's all natural. It's not like, because I know you can give your pets like Ativan and stuff. I'm adding white to see if I can get some of that black tone down and still get a color out of this without wasting it. Oh, something's happening. We'll see. Does anybody have any questions? CB, yeah, I mean, it wasn't that though, but yeah, she needs, like, it's sad. I mean, I know why she's the way she is. It's just sad because it was because of the way she was treated, you know? Not because of anything that we did. It was how she was treated before. I may end up using that. It's like a really deep purple. Yesterday, what size were the blocks? I think they were like 2 by like 2 1/4. I just basically divided my page up and did it that way. So whatever size your page is, just try and, but they were like 2 by 2. That's what I would do, like a 2 by 2. Yeah. Like, I think this is 12 by like 9. So it's a big page. All right, let me see. So this is the full color. Let's start down here. That's the full color, which is really, really pretty. So this would be the darker. I could maybe add a little more white. And it would be, it's definitely gray and dark, almost the color of the paper. Okay. Maybe I'll just add more purple. What do you guys think? If I add more purple, it won't be as smoky. It might lift it up. I mean, it's hard for you guys to see it. It does have a little bit of purple to it. Hang on, let me... See, it's got a little bit of purple. It's smoky. Yeah, I think adding like some more purple might bring it up a little bit more. All right, we're going to keep trying. We'll keep trying. But yeah. I like the gray in it. I do like adding that. But like, again, you don't have to do this. You can buy whatever colors you want. I just like to do it this way because I feel like it adds to your creativity. I really wanted a richer purple. And I thought if I added some black, I think I added too much black. I think I only needed a little bit. So it's hard. I just didn't want it to be like muted and pastel-y is what I'm getting at. Now this one looks really almost gray. But I like it. It still has that purple hue to it. All right, let me look in my little collection here. Purple Pizzazz. Yeah, let's add purple. Let's see what we get. I'm afraid that it's really just going to blend in way too much. And believe it or not, I actually have 2 bottles of this paint color. Because that's what happens when you go to the paint store and you're like, oh, that's pretty color. Oh, that's pretty color. Oh, look, I already have it. All right, so is the Cece, you're the one who was April, right? April wanted to see the color palette. Is April here? Is it April? I could be lying. Oh, I love Purple Pizzazz. That's another pretty color. Yeah, I don't know. Well, that came up a little bit. A little bit. Wow, that's hard to... Just came up very, very little. I mean, I like it. It's just, I don't know how it's going to show up. So this is what I'm going to do. Let's pull out this lavender. Would it be easier to start over? I think I'm going to keep it because I feel like I can use it, but I'm just going to add another color into this pot so that we have that option and be done with that. Oh, I got to keep it out so I can write it in the book. And it's definitely different than any of the other colors, so I think that'll be a nice option. Like it was meant to be. Hi, Mafia. Sure, I sure can. So, this is where I do our custom palettes, but mandala style dot art this is a small mandala. This is a 6.5 inch. Okay. You can do them as big as you want, but the dot art part is you're using dots of paint most of the time. Now, these rounded ones we call swooshes, but these are all with dots of paint using mostly this set of tools. And I already have black all over me. Like literally, I'm already covered in paint. The tools We use these most. Hang on, I'm just getting them in order because I like to show them in order. So on this end, all of the tips are the same size, okay? And then on the other side, they range in size from very small to bigger. Oh, lavender. Isn't that a pretty color though? It's a pretty color. And then we also use acrylic rods to make some of the bigger dots. Okay. Now, before I go on, I don't want to forget, there's quite a few of you here. If you need, like say you're hanging out and you think you want to start doing this and you don't know where to start and you want a list of supplies or whatever, if you message me through, there's like an orange box at the bottom left-hand corner with a white arrow. You can send me a message there saying, just, can you send me your supply list? Make it simple. It may ask you like for your email address. I don't need your email address. I'm not going to email you. I can message you right there. And I haven't had any issues with that. Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm going to be interested to see this one dry. It's actually really pretty. It does look like a deep purple. I just don't think it'll show up on the round. Might be pretty for like a top dot. Might be pretty with some metallic in it. It's a design. So we have certain designs that we use. But yes, so technically in this class, I make no plans. So when I go to design, do a round with them, there's no plan in place. I just start and things happen. But because it's a small piece, we tend to, I added it today, Judy, so I can send it to you again today. I realized that wasn't on the list either because somebody else asked me for it, and I'm like, the book isn't on there. I don't know what happened with the list, but everything was on there and then it disappeared. But anyway, so Lucille. So we started a pattern book because some of them are pretty commonly used in the smaller mandalas. You did. I added a lot of black. So that's good to know. But like I said, it's drying beautifully. It looks like a deep purple, like what I was trying to do. I think I just added too much black. Which I've never added a color, any black to a color, so. Because like say we're doing a project here, or I'll show you why, honestly. So when you do a large mandala like this, okay? Let me try and show you. When you do one like this and you do a custom palette, you're going to run out of paint. So if you mix anything, you want to be able to go back and say, oh, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. Hitting the goals. I appreciate you. But doing that in that book helps me be able to like remix it and match it back up as close as I can, if that makes sense. So anyways, this is an unfinished project, and the paint's actually dried up, so I have to remix the palette. What I do is I use a stencil for the guide marks. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate that. So we use these guide marks to keep our stuff in a circle. Thank you for joining the fan club, Judy. I appreciate that. Yeah, and is it a must? Do you have to have it in a book? No, because you can easily buy 110, that's 110-pound paper loose for cheaper. I'm just type A, Lucille, and I like it bound in a book. You will find quite a few YouTube. If you search mandala or dot art, there's a lot of people on that platform. And here too. I just choose to, the reason I paint live, Lucille, is because I'm a nurse practitioner student and painting is my thing. This is the one craft that I have stuck with. I've done it all. I've made jewelry. I've done, you name it, I've probably done it. Some I've enjoyed for many years. Some I was horrible at. But when in between semesters, I get time to paint. But then when school starts again, I don't get to paint. So projects go unfinished, like I just showed you. So painting live when I'm in school during a semester, I get to paint. So I get to finish these little projects. So that's why I'm just teaching the beginner stuff. I tell all of these lovely people in my community they'll outgrow me one day. They will outgrow me. You're welcome. Yes, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Okay. Now, after yesterday doing the patterns in the book, which pattern would you guys like to see again? So that when I'm doing this, like if there's one you're like, gosh, I would really like to see it done in the circle. We had I really don't have names. You can't really do the diamond art too close on this one. So the petals, so like the dot with the walking dots where it comes. Let me just make sure, because they're all kind of flower shape. So you mean this one? Am I on screen? This, like this? Okay. That makes sense. And that's a good one because then we can do a smaller dot. So we'll start there and see where we get. All right. So, Oliver, what have you done so far? Oh, let me see. Should we use zinc? Hang on a minute. I think I want to use that. You did the big dot in the middle? That's hard. That's a hard part. You would like to learn the blue or the next one down? Gosh, let me look. So the blue was the, okay. I mean, we can do both of those. I just had to look and see, because I did actually give that, the orange one or the tangerine one, a little flare. So Gigi, the one thing with Top Dots is you absolutely have to wait for everything to dry. You cannot, you might be able to do like dimensional paint. Easier than like doing acrylic over the top. I have an astigmatism. So Gigi, that is really, it is hard for me. I mean, I like doing them. So remember with our center dot, you need a good amount of paint. Okay? And we're going in the center. And I find it easier if I kind of tap, tap, tap. Okay, that did not come out round. So let's tap, tap, tap. There we go. That's better. When we are done with the live, can you send me that page you made yesterday in a Sure. So my goal is to upload that in like segments to my page as well. So you'll get the instructional part. They're acrylic craft paints. Instead of, and then Catherine is going to help me. Hang on, I'm off screen. I know, I just got to see because there's a little bit of a glare and then the paint didn't, there we go. But I can easily send you, thank you for the follow, a picture of that. That's absolutely no problem. But my goal was, I haven't had time today, is to upload, I tried, upload each section, but it takes forever. So because I finished clinical today, I should have some extra time. If that happens, I will let you all know. And then we'll get squared away, and I'll figure out a way to provide you the information on where to go, if that makes sense. If you post it with, yeah, I just feel like it I know. I still have one more semester, but I don't start that semester till like August 22nd. So right now, all I have is like tests and stuff like that, which is fine. I don't have to drive an hour to see patients. So I like that part. Okay. For the sake of the live and the sake of the size of because you can do this as big or small as you want. I know that a lot of people struggle with the smaller dots. So I am actually, instead of starting with the small end of the yellow like I usually do, I'm going to start with the large end of the yellow. I did do a bigger center dot, so it should work. And I'm actually going to start with this color we threw in. Now, you have to have enough paint. And it does become muscle memory. Excuse me, you're going to know how far you need to put that tool into your paint. Two things, you don't want these to touch and you don't want them to touch. You want them real close though. Okay. I try to explain to everybody, I would never ever want what you paint to look like what I paint. Yes, You have to start a center one way. Most of us start it this way. I know some people use like the center pieces, but you have to start somewhere with the center. Like you can't make a mandala without doing a center. Now, I probably did not put enough paint on when I base coated this because my drops of paint are kind of running in this weird oval shape. If you find that as you're going around, your dots get bigger and bigger, you have to wipe off your tool. Yeah, they're like falling in the wood grain there. There we go. It happens. As a matter of fact, Catherine was having that problem today. She thought maybe it was something she had done, but mine just did that, and it was falling in the wood grain. So these are cheap wood rounds, okay? They're not. It's not a finished piece of wood, anything fancy. So when you seal them, you don't want to be too heavy with the top coat, like where it's like splotchy or anything. I actually recommend using those foam brushes. You'll get a much more even. I just ran out. But you want a good coat because, and you can kind of see the wood grain. Like you see the wood grain here. So what happens is when you're dotting, if you don't have an even coat and those aren't filled, your dots kind of run into that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm glad we picked that color. It's really pretty. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Comments? Be careful with your comments because we know this platform is funny like that. All right, so I'm going to grab so remember when I showed you like all of the tools are the same size on one side? So I just used the large end of the yellow. So it would make no sense to use the large end or the small end of the white because it's the same. So sometimes you have to hold them, and I mean, I look at them all the time. I don't remember what size is which. Well, thank you. I try. I mean, I feel like, sometimes I repeat myself because, there's new people here, but I try. All right. So again, I'm not trying to make this complicated or anything. You will find some artists try to do in between the dots before. You don't have, I'm just telling you, you don't have to do that. You can try. Okay. So like that's in between. That's in between. But you see what's happening? That paint is running because it's running with the wood grain. So I must not have put enough. Probably didn't do enough coat. So you can do in between the dots before. I just really don't get crazy about that. That makes sense. I just want to come paint. I find that it works just as well if I paint my rows like I always do, but you could do it this way. I'm having a hard time. Hang on. There's a little bit of a glare too. And I'm a little off. So let me get organized here. There we go. There we go. It's kind of weird how you'll see it run into the wood grain like it does. Like that. So see, even experienced people still have things that happen. You could. I mean, you could. I think it just needs another coat. I really am. When I base coat these, I'm quick. I could use more. And because they're so cheap, they just it absorbs the paint so fast. You could. It's not really rough, but you could. I mean, I have a sanding block. I'm kind of lazy too. Thank you for liking the live. Okay, so we're back to hearts. It was kind of weird looking at them little gem things floating up there yesterday. It was weird. Okay. So we'll do one more row of dots and then we'll go to our design. I do almost want to see what this will look like. I mean, I can always top dot it. So let's try it and see what happens. Thank you, Judy. So I'm going to try and do the same thing. I'm going to go in between just to show you can do it. I say I'm type A. I am not that type A. It does, but I'm curious to see what it dries like. Oh, what do we do? Oh, thank you. Tap, tap, tap. Yes. Tap, tap, tap so that the algorithm sends us new friends. We always need new friends. Now, like I said, this is beginner dot art. I do call it mandala style dot art. We did have somebody pop on that was a little critical of the word mandala because there is some cultural attachment to mandalas. So I respect that, but again, I know that, so I call them mandala style because we do use a lot of the same elements that are used in traditional mandalas. And if you order like stencils, you'll see what that looks like. Those stencils definitely hold some more of the original kind of designs. Oh, so let's go back because this needs more. This needs more. Those spread quite a bit. So let me see. Okay. It's hard to see it, so let me add some paint on them. Okay. That one got a little big and spread. Thank you for the follow. Not really. Oh, let me do my puzzle piece. Wow, that's early today, I feel like. Oh, no, it's 9:05. I think it'll be okay. This one kind of ran, but I don't know that you guys will actually... I don't know anybody will see it because it's pretty dark. Okay, so now we'll go into the petal. And then for this one, I think we will do this size. So we'll do every other guide mark. Okay, then I'm going to come up a little bit. Okay. So kind of like halfway. So it's that guide mark, that horizontal guide mark is like right between, like center of that dot. And every other. So how you doing, Oliver? You doing okay? Are you having fun? That's what I want to know. Kind of. Okay. One thing I always tell everybody is we have to give ourselves grace because we're just learning. So it shouldn't be perfect, and you're never going to be perfect. Nobody's ever perfect. We do it because we want to have fun. Okay? That's why we do this. And I have so much black paint on my finger. Let me get a new paper towel. Okie dokie. Okay, and then we will use, I'm going to use the large end of the yellow, okay, which is basically the same size as what's on all the one ends of each tool. That's what we have to, yep, we're here to practice and have fun. Let's see. Let's do the deep purple as the, okay. So with this, you're basically going to put one dot, okay, and walk the dots around. So in this particular design, you're not going in and out, in and out. You're not, or I mean, in and dot, in and dot. You're just getting one dot of paint and going around. And again, the goal is that you're as close to the others as possible without touching. If anybody has an astigmatism, you're going to find out doing this. I'm telling you. You'll find out if you have one or not. I had a little bit too much paint on there, so don't do what I did. Do as I say. There we go. This purple is kind of thin, honestly. Which one is that? It's the purple iris. I feel like it's thin. Okay, so dot and walk. And I don't count. Remember, I don't count these. I just walk the paint off the tool. Until I get down to the bottom. Thank you, Oliver. I've been doing this for a little while, and I've done a lot of practicing. Lots of practicing. And I practice with everybody that's here, too. So every time I come live, I'm actually practicing more. You guys actually make me better. Which is, again, one of the reasons I started this live is so that I could paint. Because like I said, I would start a project and then not finish it. The one I show you guys, I mean, I will be finishing that because that is probably one of my favorites. Again, all, kind of like my own color palette, my own design. Again, when I say my own design, what I mean by that is we all use a lot of the same designs and patterns and stuff like that, but like I wasn't watching anybody or anything like that. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So, Judy, the center dot, you don't mean the center dot, right? So the first row is the large end of the yellow. Then I use the large end of the white. And remember, if your dots start to get too big, wipe off the excess paint from your tool. I have a tendency to forget to do that until it's too late. Who else is painting with Oliver and I? Hi, Cindy. How are you? Oh, see, they ran together. I gotta fix that. All right, these ran together. I'm gonna fix them. Q-tip, wet it, and carefully roll the Q-tip towards you. Now, ultimately, you would not want to be painting next to something that's wet. And we got lucky because it didn't bleed. There. But the key is to wet and roll the Q-tip towards you. So let's do that again. There we go. I am struggling with getting them all the way around. So Jessica, 2 things may be happening. 1, you may not have enough paint. You may do what I do and you're holding your tool sideways. It's hard to say. I think a lot of people are afraid to get too much paint on their tool. What size tool are you using? Are you using the large end of the yellow? Let's start with that. That one got a little wonky. Okay. And then your center dot was about this size, the purple. Okay. All right. So we got the same. Okay. I think you just don't have enough paint. Now, and it could be like you may do what I do, and I tend to hold the tool on its side. Try holding it straight up and down. And go slower. What that does is allow more paint to come down and connect with your piece. Yeah, I do that. I will tell you that will totally frustrate you when you get into a situation where you're doing like bigger walking dots. Well, that's drying almost the same. So this is translucent. this purple. The purple iris is translucent. You can barely see them as they're drying. Bummer. So then you're gonna then use it at an angle, because so you can see it when you're holding it at an angle. Because if you can, you're just gonna have to modify yourself. Or you probably don't want to hear this. You could buy tools that are bent. They have tools that actually have an angle bent in them, and they're for people like you and I that we have a hard time seeing. Or you can do what I do and just modify what you're doing when you're doing your dots. So now I'm going to take the large end of the white tool for our next dots. And I'm actually going to brighten this up. So now with these dots, let me find these. Okay, what we're going to do is our triangle. And then we'll see one. I don't know if I can get a full two. We'll see. So a dot, and a dot. Oh, no worries, Judy. I learn as I go too. That's the beauty of it being live. No, I did not add any white, and I don't even know what I wanted to add black to the one, and I think I just totally got sidetracked. Oh, really? Oh, I might have to look that up. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even think about it. But it tends to be that first row where it's a smaller dot where people struggle the most. So, I mean, I've been told that bending those tools, definitely, that dot obviously went the wrong way. Thank you for the follow. Said for people with astigmatism that it really helps. So I'll definitely look into that. I tell you, you can find just about anything you want on that platform. I mean, the boyfriend's always on there, trying to figure out how to get, work on a car there's so much stuff. Thank you for sharing the live too. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have that sheet that shows if it's translucent or opaque. I didn't even look. Okay, so they're basic. Some of these are very commonly used, Lucille. I will not take credit for any of these because I learned from someone, but they're pretty common. If you look up mandala.art as in your search engine, you'll see but then some of us, so some of them fit better in small patterns or small rounds. But like I said, when you get into a big round, you do different things, like brush strokes and stuff like that. So that's why I try to express to everybody that, you're going to come up with, and you should, your own little niche, your own little part of it. My thing is I love to show how different things look when you use a totally different color palette. So like this shape is a little smaller. You do this shape a little bigger with a different color, it looks totally different. Yes, no, that's what this, don't ever apologize for asking questions because everybody, that's what this place is for. Yeah, so these are wood rounds and it's actually painted with this. It's a satin, multi-surface satin. So it gives it a little bit of a sheen. It's a little, I don't want to use the word thicker, but it coats better and allows the chalk pencil marks to go on pretty well. So that's the one thing you want is whatever you're using for your base coat, you want your chalk marks to go on and stay, but also come off when they're ready to come off. Because we erase them when we're done. You're welcome. So again, still using the guide marks to get that petal just below. Keep everything lined up the best you can. Ooh. So I kind of dragged that one. Yeah, no, this is a beginner platform. The people that are here painting with us and hanging out with us, they know because they ask those some of the same questions. So they know the drill, everybody. And again, if I don't answer, somebody probably will. Just because they've been here and asked it. Now, it isn't unusual for me to have to tap, tap, tap. Remember what that is where you need a little more paint. Just tap your tool a little bit. It usually comes off. You can get a little more paint for your dot. You'd be surprised how many people are gay. Well, again, I learned from somebody who did not do that. She does not, and I feel like if she's not going to do that and she's going to put her stuff on, other platforms, and somebody wants to take the time to practice and learn. Now, mind you, I did take several of her classes that she has, and she spent the time editing and stuff like that for things like brush strokes and something a little bit more. Hi, Lori. Yeah, I don't, like I said, she did not do that. I'm not going to do that. And like I said, I use the word teach loosely. I'm really demonstrating because I can't promise to be your teacher because my goal is, I'm going to be a nurse practitioner. But do I want to keep doing this and painting with you guys? Absolutely. But you will outgrow me, If you want to start learning how to do brush strokes, you're going to start figuring that out. But this is to get the supply list. Judy, did I send you the supply list today? Because I know I added that book today. Okay, it must have been before I added it. I'll send it to you again. It should be at the very top. I noticed that. I was like, okay, I will definitely, yeah, I'll definitely do that. It was all set up, and I guess I added stuff, and I don't know what I did. I have no idea. I don't know. Okay, so we did that. Let's go in with this lighter color, and then we'll do, I think I'm going to stick with the large end of the white tool. I don't really want to get too big, because when I walk down this way, I have a very, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's very narrow in here. Okay. So I'm going to come up here, and they should be tiny around here, but I might have to skip a space. You'll see what I mean when I do it. Okay. So I'm going to come up a little further. Do our triangle. Again, tap, tap, tap. And then get your paint. And just keep, oh, I hit the chalk line, and there we go. Couldn't see my dots anymore. There we go. Okay. Yeah, the color palette is pretty, very pretty. I do love the purple. And I'm not, like, really not a purple person. But when I paint with it, I do love it. And keep on losing the video. I'll be back. Oh, okay. As long as it's not glitching on my end, unless you guys tell me it's glitching on my end. I mean, we're not having any storm right now, but I do live in the middle of nowhere, so, and it's hot, so who knows? You know, it has teal, probably. I love teal. Like, I wear this color or some shade of this color all the time. I mean, I wear some, like, navy blue, too. Black, I wear a lot. But if I had to pick a color, it would be teal. Aqua blue, whatever that beachy blue color is. You love green. Green is like fresh. I feel like it's very soothing too. And you know, Rhonda, this is exactly what we did last night. The only difference is that first purple ring is drying translucent, so you really can't see it. But, I mean, it's... But when you do the pattern book, you don't really get to see them together. So... yeah, there is really a lot of shades. You're right. So yeah, so when we do the pattern book, it's nice because you get the pattern, but you don't really get to see what it looks like in a circular formation. Okay, I think I asked this already. I know Oliver's painting. I think Cece might be painting. Yeah. So what we were talking about, I don't know if you were here. I don't know what paint you use, but there is a chart available and it will tell you if it's going to be transparent or not. And it's on, it's available. Is I guess what I need to use. I gotta be careful my words. Primary blue, like light yellow is translucent. So there are quite a few that dry translucent. But as somebody said, and I can't remember who it was now, you can add a little bit of white and it'll change that. I was just trying to be like super creative and add black, and I just added way too much. Now I have way too much paint on my tool. So let's just switch and do these this way. Oops. Oops. Way too much. Okay. But that's okay. He is done. Now, Cece, are you going to send me a picture of what he did, or is he just done because he's done? Or did he finish? Because, if he's finished the painting, I'd like to see it. If he's just done because he's done, then that's... Yeah, that's fine. Well, that's fun. He tried. He's got other things. He's probably got better things to do with his time. All right. I had quite a few clumps of paint in this one, and I'm struggling not... There we go. I think we're good now. There we go. And now he's going to bed. Oh, good night. Yeah, I get it. No. I'm going to bed. Cute. I bet he's cute. My grandkids, they like to do this stuff, but they're the same way. They'll start and they're like, I'm done. I'm like, well, you haven't even started. I'm done. I'm going to go swim, or I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go do that. It's okay. It's here. It'll be here when you come back. Thank you for liking the live, guys. I appreciate you. Is anybody that's out there new and have any questions? If you're new here, say hi in the chat. Tell us where you're tuning in from. Ask your questions. It's a pretty good community. Unless they're painting. I feel like a few of them are painting, so they may not answer as fast as normal. So I've been trying to encourage everybody to paint a little bit because, eventually we'd like to not all, a few of us be live together in boxes, not showing what we're painting, but be able to talk to each other and basically use the same color palette. Why are we cockeyed? Georgia, Gigi. Gigi, where in Georgia? Are you Atlanta area? Are you closer to South Carolina, Florida. Georgia. I know quite a few people that had somebody that lived in by what's the name of that mountain there where they do the light show? Oh, okay. I'm technically a Florida resident, Southeast Coast. Stone Mountain. Thank you. Yes. So we had family that lived there. Woodstock. I'm trying to think. There was another couple that lived in the middle of nowhere. Oh my God, I can't think of the name of it. But yeah, Stone Mountain, I was thinking that. I know some people that live near Athens. Cedartown, middle of nowhere. That's a good place to live, though, in the middle of nowhere. We do, too. So, well, awesome. Only 50 minutes, Judy. I don't know about that. Gnats are awful. They are. You need a lot of, what's that stuff we used to use from Avon? Can't think of the name. Judy, I think you've been watching longer than 50 minutes. Really? Skin so soft. Yes. Then they just get stuck to you. In Florida, we have no-see-ums that are awful. I don't know. Normally they do. It's an accumulation. But I don't know. That's kind of strange. But whatever. You're here. Yeah, my dad lived in Merritt Island. So, like, he had a place on the water there. And I don't know why, but he would open the windows or not put the AC on, and so you'd open the window and they would come through the screens. Oh, it was awful. Awful. Okay, so Gigi, you're the one that was saying about the top dots, right? It is coming out beautifully, yes. Even though the center dot is translucent and some of the other dots. Okay, now these are not dry enough to top dot, period. As we do like the next row or do some other things, maybe we can top dot with the acrylics. I probably wouldn't top dot these until tomorrow. So if you're trying to do them too early, that might be part of it, okay? Now, could you maybe go over that with, like, the dimensional paint? Maybe. But I wouldn't even do that now because they're still wet. Okay, now let me see. What could we do that's different? We do the same. I tend to do the same thing in the live because I feel like learning swooshes. So who's painting along with me? Jessica, who's painting along with me? Okay, you're dotting for Christmas ornaments? Oh, yes. I remember you said you were doing that. Okay, Jessica's painting. Cece. Okay. All right, couple of you. So, are you... Okay, that's fine. Should I do swooshes in here? Would you like to put some small swooshes in here? I feel like that's something that everybody... Okay. Research dot art with, gosh, I'm going to, okay. I feel like, hi Marcia. Have you been here all night? Or am I just seeing you pop up now? And then I think that's just got here. Okay. I was like, I missed you? Okay, so let's do some swooshes. So we don't really have a big space, right? Because our goal is going to be kind of to just fill in that negative space. You don't have to. No, our goal was to do Thursday to do the purple palette. I wasn't sure how this week was going to go, but I'm here. Yep. No worries. I'm glad you're here. So you don't have to do that. You could simply finish this off by doing a row of dots. I like swooshes. You could do your row of dots and then the swooshes. Let's do that. Let's do a row. Let's close our loop up, or circle up, the row of dots. I don't know, that's awfully big. Let me see. I feel like that might be small. All right, let's see. Let's use this color because this is really pretty. Yeah, I had clinical to finish today. So I'm just going to do a row of dots to close this up. And then we'll go in there and do our swooshes. So I'm doing it a little different. Just to kind of show you can do things different. You don't have to always do things the one way. Some people don't even fill that negative space up. They just leave it. I have to fill it up. So if you like that negative space, what tool? This is one of the acrylic rods that comes with the set. It's a little smaller than it's probably about the end of a paintbrush. But it's, do you have the acrylic rod? Sorry, Judy. I'm spacing on that question. If you have the acrylic rods, I forgot some of you have tools now. So depending on if you got the acrylic rods in your kit or your set, there's 3 that are clear, a small one, a medium, and then the larger one. And I'm using the larger one. Yep, sorry, I spaced. Yep, the larger one. Totally forgot you guys were all equipped. I'm used to doing that with the the smaller dotting tools, but not the acrylic ones. If you're new here, the other thing I recommend, I am just using an acrylic craft paint, but when you're practicing, I highly recommend you practice with one brand of paint. That way you get comfortable with that brand and its consistency, because they are a little different across brands. Maybe not terribly, but there is some variation, and it would be very frustrating, in my opinion. Now, if you have craft paint, use what you got. Don't go buy, I would never recommend you just go buy more paint. Use what you got, but just keep that in mind, that some of the consistency from paint brand to paint brand, even if it's acrylic, could be different. And when you're doing these dots, remember, you need a good amount of paint on there. You don't want to see ripples or dimples. Okay? So you should put it down and tap a little bit. Make sure you get enough paint off your tool. Yeah, you're welcome. Like I said, I totally forgot that many of you are all tooled up and geared up. And now that chalk mark was a little wonky, so I put the dot wrong, but it's just one. Oh, it's so nice. I don't have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. And it's weird though, I've worked with, like I told you, I'm a neonatal ICU nurse. So I've worked and I've done pediatric, like home care and case management and all that. So I've worked with kids for 26 years. And I have 3 of my own and 10 grandkids. So I'm not foreign to pediatrics. But when you work in family medicine, 84 hours, if you've never worked in peds, is nowhere enough to learn. It is. This one, it was an add-on. Lavender. It wasn't my initial plan, but we needed one more color. All right, remember what I tell you. Pause. I'm pretty sure 2 is going to be the max. And it's probably going to have a space between it. So I'm not going to go full size. Just want to get them in there and just make them a little bigger. There you go. Cool. And then for that row, I would do micro dots, which is my favorite thing of all times to do. I do not push it on there. I hover over, let the paint touch, and tap, tap, tap. And I don't do tap, tap, tap like that. I have enough paint on there so that when I tap, it's really just the paint spreading out a little bit. Yeah, you need, for larger dots, you need enough paint, but you don't. Now, you may find that method works for you. I just don't do it that way. So, for instance, let's just switch canvases here for a second, since we're talking about stuff like this. That's what we're here for, right? Okay. So for when I'm doing the dotting tool, most likely I am touching the wood. Okay? Let's just do this gray. So most likely for walking dots, I am touching the tool down. I'm literally touching and the paper. Now, sometimes I know I have too much paint and I may actually not touch until I lose some paint. and now I'm touching again. Okay? With the rods and the bigger dots, though, in order to not get the ripple, you want to tap, 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 but not touch. Just kiss the wood. Exactly. Absolutely. But when I'm doing the walking dots, I do touch. So it's, again, you dip. Now when you tap, 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 I'm going to show you something. I have the same amount of paint on here. Am I on? Oh, I'm off the paper. Okay? I have the same amount of paint that I just did there. But now if you tap, tap, tap. Oh, well, I guess that didn't really work. Sorry, yeah, I realized that. You can actually make the dot bigger, but I've gotten my muscle memory so good now. I couldn't even make it bigger. But yeah, you don't want to, because if you do that and you just do that, oh, that worked out too. So the key is, though, you want enough paint on that tool. Because if you don't, you start to get stuff that looks like that. Okay? If you have enough paint on there and you touch, it's still going to dome up. Well, this arm, oh, I can't get it out anymore. Here, let me move over. So yeah, so I got paint a lot, and I'm actually touching, but it domes anyways. So try putting more paint on your tool. Like, I mean, my tool's in the paint about 1/2 inch. Okay? You're welcome. All right. Moving on. Get rid of this. And then we'll do some swooshes. And then it is. I know. And I think people are intimidated by how much paint, and I know I was. I'm like, that is a lot of paint. And you need that much. All right, now let me think here, because I think the large end of the white is gonna work. Let's just stick with the paint. So we did that there. So we could do, and this is translucent. So you know what I have? I have a metallic purple. Let me find it. Let's see if we can squeeze that in there. I think that would be pretty. Add a little bit of bling. So I think I will do, trying to decide. I think I want to do the metallic here. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So see what I mean? Like, I just guess as I'm going along but again, you could do the metallic here in the middle. You could do all the swooshes metallic. You don't have to do them in different colors either. You do whatever you want. You can do them in the dimensional paint. I'm trying to avoid using the dimensional paint because I don't want you guys to think that you have to go get it to get any of these looks. So that's why I'm trying to avoid that. All right, so we never did use any of that color on here. Or is that? No, that's the purple. It's actually a pretty color. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to pick a color. Pick a color, Victoria. Pick a color. We're going to use this one. All right. So, 2 ways you can do this. Okay. You put your paint down as a dot and push slowly. Once you get about halfway, you can finish your swoosh. Okay? Now, on smaller pieces, you may find that when you go around, the paint isn't dry enough to saddle up your next swoosh. Okay? What happens then is things kind of get blurred and muddy and it's not crisp looking, and you may not like the outcome of it. So what you can do is do these center ones and then work on the outer ones the following day, or just wait a little bit. They dry pretty quick. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for sharing the live. I'm just putting that out there because in swoosh world, when they blend together, they don't look as, I don't know, they just don't look as, I guess, pretty. And I'm not really pushing hard on the wood. I used to. What happens when you do that, if you push your tool too hard, you'll actually dig a groove in the wood and you're just going to fight the wood and get upset and frustrated and be like, what's going on? So don't push too hard. Okay? Thank you for sharing the live, Julie. I appreciate you. Okay, so it's about that time. So we need to talk about Sunday. So I am normally live Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. till 10:30-ish. Depends on what we're doing. And I usually ask the community what they want to do next. So there's a few of you that I'm sure are new. It is, right? Very pretty. Even though some of them are drying translucent. So I give the community an opportunity. We will not finish this round live. This size usually takes us 1.5 lives, depending on what's happening. So I usually ask them things like, what color do you want to use in the next custom palette? And do we want to finish this? Do we want to start another project? Do we want to paint on, I also paint on rocks. We call them love stones. Thank you for the follow. Jen's leaving. I'm going to get ready for. Okay, you too. Thank you for being here. I'll see you Sunday. Yes, definitely be safe. So we could, so if you're new here, we paint rocks, which I call love stones. We pick a color palette. I call them love stones because they're loosely. Jessica. I don't mind. I know that Thursday is your day. Does anybody mind if we finish it on Thursday with Jessica? I don't think anybody would mind at all, honestly. You want greens, Judy? Yeah, I think I think we'll be fine with that. Cool. So I call these love stones. We pick a palette. We do the same thing. Instead of doing a design, these are absolutely just dots of paint. So sometimes the community likes to do the love stones. I think many of them are graduating and wanting to learn more of the design elements of them, the rounds, but yes, well, like I said, I didn't think anybody was going to mind, so we'll do that. So then the real question is, what are we doing Sunday? Why does this look blue on the laptop? I mean, it does not look blue at all. You do? I haven't done that yet. So I have like these. You do these. Yeah. I purchased mine. But why does it look blue on my laptop? It's purple, I promise. Very pretty purple. Okay, good. All right, because on my laptop, it did not look purple at all. It looked blue. It was weird. Almost periwinkle or something. Thank you, Rhonda. You use Perfect Cast. Where did you get your molds from? Okay, good, Julie. Thank you for confirming. Because, yeah, it was weird. I looked at my laptop screen and I'm like, God, that does not look anything like what we're painting with. I don't usually use I will look at it to tell me if I'm kind of centered or not. But I look mostly so that I can see your comments. Okay. So I'm just kind of wasting some time so that the swooshes would dry a little bit on the edges. Oh, okay. I love her stuff. Okay. Cool. That's cool that you pour your own. How long does it take for them to set? I'm impatient, but I also don't like paying what I pay to get them shipped. Oh my goodness, when I know I can do it myself. Does anybody want to? I know many of you are really new. But it really is fun to paint on those round rocks too. I'm gonna look look at something and see what I can come up with for another option. But okay, I digress. We did that, so we don't want to really do that. Let's just do this one because we know we're going to do the metallic next to it. And I'm just using the same tool, large end of the white. Now, before I do this, let me show you guys something. About an hour you can Dima, that's hilarious. I was like, demolish. All right. Are we in frame? Okay. So, you know how we just stuck my hand in all that. You know how we normally, I got to get you in frame here without spilling paint. Okay. I'm going to do something down here. Okay. So, we usually go and we do our swoosh. Okay. Okay. See, I didn't go fast, right? All right. So the next one, you can do like a curve on it. You don't have to do sometimes I get kind of nervous about it and then blending. Obviously this is. But you can actually do that. Then you can do another one. And they're blending, I know that. And then another one. So you can change the way that looks just by curving and I'm doing this quickly. I'm just saying you can, whoops. Let's pull that down. You can change the way it looks by curving it. I tend to do mine, like you see me do it. And that's not the best example because everything kind of bled together, but I tend to prefer mine to look. Let me see. Hang on. I got to show you what I mean because I'm not doing a very good job of showing you on there. I got to have here. I'm not helping you very much. So right here, see how I kind of curve them and they're smaller? And here's another. Like you can almost see the dot and then it curves. That's one example. But then I feel like I had, well, I guess that's it. I might have another round with somewhere, but yeah, I guess I probably have another one somewhere, but not doing a very good job of showing you that one because, again, when they bleed together like that, it doesn't really give you an idea what it is. So, but I have a tendency to do mine one way. Oh, sorry. Not anywhere in the frame. So dot your paint and come down without you're not necessarily going to be able to run your tool through that again. Okay? So you have to go a little slower to get the paint to come off. Don't rush it. And then, like, that didn't really round right there. Just take the other end of the tool. So Judy, how long have you been making the stones? That's pretty cool. Do you make anything else? What other molds have you bought? Do you do like the tea lights and stuff like that too? I'd like to do the tea lights. So is everybody caught up with me? I did kind of pause in there for a little bit, so. Anybody have any questions? So like I said, just flip the tool over and you can fix that easily. Thank you for liking the live. I don't know who's tapping away. I appreciate that. Like I said, that always gets us new friends, so. Now, remember what I told you. If pushing it gives you an issue and it doesn't feel natural, I mean, part of it is learning and practicing, but try the other way, which is pulling. And it's not, all I've ever done is push, but pull, you would put your dot, same thing, and then pull the paint towards you, like that. So try. Ooh, that was a big old drop of paint. Okay? Oh, hang on a minute. There we go. Again, it's not necessarily a natural motion for me to do it that way. But you could try that. Working on dotting for 2 years. I ordered tea light, but the swooshes, paint plaques with. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I have all of that stuff. Like, I don't own it, but it's on the, my wish list, which you probably saw there. But I just end up doing more of the rounds. I don't know. I do like the tea. I love doing the ornaments. Like, I love doing, like, that's a really fun project. Maybe I should try that. Would you guys like to see that? I mean, like I said, for me, when I did the ornaments, I freehanded. What is that? A horsefly? What? Hold on a minute. Well, there's a big old horsefly in the house. I basically dotted initials. I did a design. I can bring them out. Maybe I should do that. I'll get the box out and show you what I did. And then we can go from there. If that's something you guys want to see, we can do that too. That's an option for a palette. It does. Yeah. Like I said, I made everybody's initials, but I dotted the initials. But I did like the initial in like a cursive, I think it was. Gosh, that was years ago now. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be fun. Because then, that's something you can do as like a gift for people. Like I said, I like this size because you can also make it a magnet for somebody's refrigerator, and it's a manageable size. So, but eventually, depends on what you'll find what you like to do the most, honestly. I'm just trying to find which ones. Okay, this one looks driest. So I'm just going to stick with the same size tool. Let me mix this up because Square ornaments? Oh, I didn't even know they made square ones. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I usually get, well, I say usually, I've only done them once, but they were a lot of fun. All right. So I'm going to come all the way up to the row of dots up by the top dots or walking dots and bring that like that. Oh, why do I hear a four-wheeler at this hour? Dumb. City people come up into the woods and they ride around on a four-wheeler in the dark. Dumb. Flatlanders is what they get called around here. I don't even know what that means. Does anybody know what Flatlander means? Apparently, we're in the Endless Mountains, part of Pennsylvania. So anybody that's not from this area is called a Flatlander. Because basically, city folk. Whatever. But it's dumb to be riding around on a four-wheeler at night if you're not from here, because you don't. It's just dumb. I mean, we live on a dirt road, and people cut through here all the time. It's just dangerous. The square ones. Oh my gosh, that sounds so cute. Okay, now we all have to find those. That sounds fun. That sounds like a fun project. That would be a first for me. I've never painted on anything square or rectangular for that matter. I feel like when you work with metallic, you need a lot of metallic on your tool as well. So if I can just give you that bit of advice too. I mean, that may have been, I don't know who that, I really don't know who that was that just drove their four-wheeler through here. Ooh, too much paint. Oliver loved tapping to make the heart. Oh, oh, is that why we're getting up there in numbers? Thank you, Oliver. That brings us new friends. So we like the tap, tap, tapping. That's funny. It's pretty funny when it does that. I never even knew that. Like, I have learned so much from, like, other people on live. I'm like, all this like we're a D League. We're like low man on the totem pole. But so my friend Heather, who pops in here from time to time, she's like, the only way you're going to get up in league, I'm like, I am here to paint. Like, I am not here. If we move up in the leagues, it's all because of you guys. I am not, like, that is not on my radar. I like friends to paint with. We chat, we do our thing. We always get new people in here, and that's all I care about. But that's cute. Well, like I said yesterday, hi Nordy, yeah, isn't it pretty? When I was looking at it, there was like gems and stuff popping up instead of the regular hearts. I'm like, what is going on? I don't know. Okay, so what are we painting on? Okay, we had a couple votes for green. Are we doing green on Sunday? What are we painting on? I won't probably have ornaments by then because I've got to access where I can get them from. Hang on, this one is... There we go. You need to get a I like having I have a lot of colors. I think the white is great because that's how I start. Like I love to show everybody the white. But not everybody likes that dull pastel-y kind of. I mean, some of these did come out pastel, but I think if you can buy the paint palettes, the white, yeah. It's just nice to have those options so that you can kind of play around with your paint. Thank you for the follow, George. Buttermilk, but I like buttermilk too. That's really close to white. Hi, Ishu. Is who? How am I saying that? Issue. Hi, Gigi. So, my normal nights are Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern till about this time. Let's just start saying 10:30 because we don't get off before 10. We don't get off before now because we get talking. But yeah. So this takes us about a night and a half. So it's about 4 hours issue. I mean, this size is about 4 hours. And the reason a lot of that, because I pause and I talk and I go back and I show and, so there's a lot of, could we finish this in 2 hours, 2.5? Yeah, probably. But people are painting along with me too, so sometimes it takes a little longer. But if we paint one of the stones, This I can usually get done in one night, in a couple hours. It is. This is 6. Yeah, these are 6. If it was a 4-inch, we could easily get that done in a night too. If I definitely encourage you guys to get, it's very, I would encourage you to, if you really want to challenge yourself to learn the smaller dotting, to get the 4-inch round. Okay. That's initially what we were going to use because I knew I could finish these in a live. And this is bigger dots, but you know, if you want to learn how to make your center, like you have to learn how to compact your design. Okay, Jessica. All good things come in time. Yes, please, anybody that does anything and you want to share it with me, I love to see what everybody does because it gives me a lot of satisfaction because I don't get to see what you guys, we can't really talk. So that's why I said once we kind of get moving along, if we want to do boxes, we can actually talk to each other. I think, I just think that would be really cool to do that. Oh, excuse me. So, all right, so we're going to finish this Thursday. Okay. Do we, for the greens, do you want me to do a palette or do you want us to just use greens? Oh, I can try. Yes. I mean, I'm going to tell you you're a beginner. Listen, I am not, do I not have I not shared? I don't have any out. I do. Hang on. Hold on a minute. I got to put something in front of the, hang on. I'm not going far. Oh no, I lied. That's paintbrushes. But this is one of my, so that, remember when I was telling you, like you can make them curved? Well, what is that? So, and then this was like beginner brush strokes. I think a lot of that, well, the colors are pretty, yes. But this was I did put a magnet on it, but this was one of my maybe first ones. Maybe. I don't remember. Yeah, the colors are pretty. Your petals. So, and you did the triangle. So I feel like with the and you can see here, mine didn't look like they do now. Okay? Mine did not look anything like they do now. I would run out of paint, all of that stuff. For me, the way that I ended up getting that petal more of a point was forcing myself to come up with that dot and forcing myself to put these in that triangular and really focus on that triangle shape. Okay, perfect. All right, Cindy. Cindy, before you go, do you want to paint on a round or a rock? What does everybody want to paint on? I don't care either way. It doesn't matter to me. I feel like you guys are progressing and wanting to do more of the design elements. So if that's the case, we'll just keep working on doing rounds and just focusing on getting that stuff down. Okay. Judy, okay, so round for you. Good night, Sandra. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Yes, have a great weekend. Be safe. Judy, so you have 6-inch rounds, or are you working on a bigger round? Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Kim, Judy joined. So is green okay? It's 10:30. I know everybody's tapping out, but are we doing green am I doing a custom palette, or am I just picking 5 shades of green and we'll do a round? I feel like you guys have kind of like that's or do we want to work on another page in our pattern book? Because we only did 3. More patterns? Okay. I mean, I do have a 4-inch round. I swiped out and you have 8. Okay. Green. Okay. Pattern book. Okay, Nancy. Absolutely, Jessica. Yes. No. Yes. You have a safe 4th too. Yes. We want everybody to be able to come back and pattern book. Okay. All right. So that's what we'll do on Sunday. Jessica. Okay. Who was it that I got to write this down? Who asked me for a picture of the pattern book? I already forgot. Jessica. Okay. I felt like it was you, but okay. So what I'll do is I will send you that, and then I will send you the next page too. Does that work? Okay. All right, good. Perfect. Sounds like a plan. All right, well, everybody be safe. Please. I mean, I was worried about the whole firework thing. Everything's really dry and hot and catching on fire, and something's going to happen. But you want a picture too, Judy? Okay. Let me write that down because otherwise if I don't, I will forget who it was. And like I said, between now and hopefully Sunday or Monday, I'll figure out a way to get the recording up, and then you'll have like that tutorial. I just got to figure out how to do it. I think I know how to do it on the other platform. I just have to spend time doing it. Yep, you too, Judy. Okay, well, if you have any questions, so we're going to do green and we're going to do, we're going to do pattern book. Jesus, I already forgot, see? Okay, Dee. Hi, Dee. Yes, have a great weekend. Pattern book Sunday. All right, guys, I'm going to tune out. I'll see you all then.